Hi Rachel, this is Sister Finch. I was just looking at the color comp that you submitted. I did leave some feedback for you in the discussion board as well, so you might want to go back and look at that and read that. I agree with you on many of the points that you made about some of the shapes running together because their colors or values were too close. I agree with you on that. Honestly, this is a really nice design. Even submitted as is, you would probably get an A. You would get an A on this assignment. But I do want you to think about, as you already have, the improvements that are possible with this design. There are a few things that I like, besides the things I already mentioned in the discussion board. I really like how you used some rectilinear shapes and some curvilinear shapes. I think when we think of gears, we kind of just think of, the round shapes, and I like that you incorporated some of these kind of conveyor belt type things in your design. Let me think. Yes. So as far as you said differentiating some of the values, I think you could even push this red value or yeah, probably this red value and this red value just a touch lighter, um, just to make this gear stand out even a little bit more. Very minimal, because you do want to have that repeating color. Um, One thing that I had thought about mentioning when I was looking at the design, and then I didn't type it out because I thought, well, is this shape right here? This yellow, kind of mustard yellow shape that you have back here, I really like how you subordinated that with value. You made it, the same color hue family, I guess, as the background, and that really subordinates that with value as well. I felt like maybe you could break it up a little bit. It just feels a little bit heavy in the design, but I didn't know how to tell you to break it up. You'd have to experiment, like maybe just a small cutout shape somewhere, um, in here, or I think if you do it down here, that would draw your eye to the corner, which isn't such a great idea. But I feel like it needs a little bit of a cutout to view that background shape. I did mention adding some detail work to your positive or shapes that you want to have stand out. You could do that. You could do it, this gear for sure. But you might want to experiment with some of the other gears as well. Like maybe even this background shape would just be a kind of fun extra cutout. Um, Let me pause it so I can think for just a minute. Okay, I'm back. There are just a couple of other little things. They're just little things that I could suggest. The first is this line right here that goes to the corner of the page. It's just a small thing, but typically you don't want to have lines, especially diagonal lines and lines that slope in that direction. It's kind of like a slide. Think about a slide. You're climbing up the slide, then you go down the slide. Your eye is going to, imagine like someone, like it's just going to follow that path that you create, kind of like a ball rolling down a hill. And you typically don't want to have any lines like that go off into the corner of a design. So you might want to just, adjust that line slightly right here. The other thing maybe is I think maybe this shape right here is a little bit more dominant than it should be, because it kind of is overlapped. It's on top of the other shapes, and it cuts the design in half. And so you could think about, even lightening that just a little bit would help, or having, maybe one of these gears overlap it, so that it's not right out there in front. That would help subordinate it as well. And then yeah, just what you said about these values, a little bit of craftsmanship. Make sure that that you've got straight lines. If you have to draw them in a little bit and then paint them, that's fine. And then the last thing, and like I said, they're just small, small things. You would get an A on this assignment as is. But where these shapes touch or nearly touch right here, let's see if there's any other areas. It looks good everywhere else for the most part. You got this little tiny thing right here. But it's called a tangent. When shapes like nearly touch, it's better to have them overlap or have a little bit more space in between it. Tangents create tension for the viewer. And so, you know, gears, clockwork, I don't know if I'd necessarily call those tensions. I guess a tension it can be. But it's better, you know, if you're thematically trying to create tension in your design, then I might tell you otherwise. But it's better generally to have shapes that will either definitely overlap or have more space in between them. But other than that, everything is looking really good, Rachel. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope that you've enjoyed this semester, and I look forward to your final design and any small adjustments that you make. All right, have a good week. Bye-bye.